Hey you, welcome to the channel. In this video is my Premier League predictions game week 11. Game week 10 was an exciting weekend full of interesting results. Chelsea in the London derby secured a 1-0 victory over Tottenham Hotspur. Liverpool, after 4 consecutive losses in the Premier League, got their first victory, winning by 2-0 at the Anfield against Aston Villa. Manchester City also got a 3-1 victory over AFC Bournemouth, which Erling Haaland can't stop scoring, and it is what it is. In game week 10, I had only one game spot on predicted. That was the game between Burnley and Arsenal. I predicted a 2-0 victory for Arsenal, and I got a spot on predicted. Well, despite in game week 10, I have a couple of close predictions. For example, Fulham game like this, I predicted a 3-1 victory for Fulham, and that game ended in a 3-0 for Fulham. Manchester United too went to the City ground. I predicted a 1-1 draw, and that game ended in a 2-2 draw. So I had a couple of close predictions in game week 10. Going to this game week 11, I'm looking out for more close predictions and even more spot on predictions. My name is Andy Finer. If you're new here, subscribe to this channel, like this video. I have less than 50 new subscribers and I'll reach 5k. So please, if you're watching this video, like this video and subscribe. Help me reach 5k with this video. Without wasting much of your time, let's get started with our game week 11 predictions. So starting off the game week 11 predictions at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London is an early kickoff. Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester United. So far, as it stands in game week 10, both teams have 17 points. Tottenham Hotspur right now, they are sit on the Premier League table with 17 points plus of 9 goals. Manchester United is also now 8th on the Premier League table with 17 points plus of 1 goal as it stands in game week 10. Going to this game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium could be one of the most interesting games coming up, and this is an early kickoff. Both teams last season, Tottenham Hotspur got a victory in this fixture against Manchester United. Can they secure another victory against Manchester United? Because looking at both teams, in game week 10, Tottenham Hotspur at home lost in the London derby against Chelsea. They lost by 1-0, whilst Manchester United also went to the City ground and they got a 2-2 draw against Nottingham Forest in game week 10. Going to this game in game week 11 is going to be an interesting game, and well, I can see that Tottenham Hotspur, despite this season, they have some ups and down results, and despite they couldn't win against Chelsea in that London derby, in that game, they managed to get even one shot on target in the whole 90 minutes that they played against Chelsea, which I think in that game, Chelsea was the better side on the day. And going to this game, can United also go to the Spurs Stadium and frustrate them to get at least a point? Probably yes, but well, I think at the end of the day, Tottenham Hotspur is going to claim all the 3 maximum points against Manchester United. My prediction for this game is a 2-1 victory for Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Manchester United 1. Oh yes, moving on to the next game at the Hill Dickinson Stadium is between Everton versus Fulham. This is going to be an interesting game coming up in game week 11. Talking about Everton in their last game in the Premier League was against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, and that game ended in a 1-1 draw against Sunderland. Fulham too in game week 10 got a 3-0 victory over Wolves, and well, going to this day, we're looking at both teams on the Premier League table right now. Everton is now 14th on the Premier League table with 12 points minus of 2 goals, and Fulham too, they are also 15th on the Premier League table with 11 points minus of 3 goals. Going to this game at the Hill Dickinson Stadium in game week 11 is going to be a very difficult game, and well, I'm predicting this game to end in a draw, but I will not be shocked if Everton at home get a 2-1 victory over Fulham. My prediction in this game is a 1-1 draw, but I will not be shocked if Everton get a win over Fulham. Moving on to the next game at the London Stadium in game week 11 is between West Ham United versus Burnley. This is going to be a very interesting game coming up in game week 11. West Ham at home is hosting Burnley. And looking at both teams on the league table right now, West Ham is now 18th on the Premier League table with 7 points, minus of 11 goals. And Burnley right now, they are also 17th on the Premier League table with 10 points, minus of 7 goals. Well, in game week 10, Burnley at home at the Turf Moor, they lost 2-0 against the league leaders Arsenal. And West Ham too in game week 10 secure a 3-1 victory over Newcastle United, which before that game, West Ham United, it had only 4 points out of the 9 games that they've played in the Premier League table, and that game helped them to secure a 3 maximum point. I think Nuno Espirito Santos is starting to get results, and well, he's picking up from here. And going into this game, I think it's the right time to play Burnley because Burnley don't have the experience, and you know, West Ham United is a traditional club and they can't afford to go for relegation. So I think this is the point that West Ham will start to turn up results, and going to this game is the right time to play Burnley. What is my score prediction going into this game at the London Stadium? Can Nuno Espirito Santo secure his second victory in a row for West Ham United? Probably yes. I'm predicting this game to end in a 2-0 victory for West Ham United. West Ham United 2, Burnley 0. Oh yes, moving on to the next game at the Stadium of Light in game week 11 is between Sunderland versus Arsenal. This is going to be one of the most difficult games coming up in game week 11. If I say this, you should wonder, how can a new promoted side, Sunderland, be a difficult game against Arsenal? Right now, looking at the Premier League table, it's interesting to know that Sunderland right now, they are 4th on the Premier League table with 18 points plus of 4 goals, and Arsenal is now leading the Premier League table with 25 points plus of 15 goals as it stands in game week 10. And going to this game at the Stadium of Light, Sunderland in game week 10 secure a 1-1 draw at the Stadium of Light, and this is going to be another tough game coming up. Arsenal at home will be a very difficult game. What do I think is going to happen in this game? Can Sunderland secure a point or even win against Arsenal? I think it's going to be a very difficult task. Looking at this Arsenal team, in their last 5 games in all competition, no team have even scored a single goal against Arsenal in their last 5 games in all competition. So it's going to be a very difficult game. And well, talking about Sunderland, I know they've been on some good form, they secured some good points, and this game against Arsenal is going to be a very difficult one. But I think at the end of the day, Arsenal had the quality, they have the players, they have the manager, and now with how things are going, if they are not even scoring in an open play, they will get a set piece and they are going to score. So whatever it takes, at the end of the day, Arsenal will try to carry all the 3 maximum points. And against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, I'm predicting Arsenal to get a win against Sunderland. My prediction in this game is going to be a 1-0 victory over Sunderland. Arsenal 1, Sunderland 0. Moving on to the next game at the Stamford Bridge in London is between Chelsea versus Wolves. This is going to be one of the most easiest games to predict going into this game in game week 11 because Chelsea at home hosting Wolves. I know Wolves and Chelsea, they have this back and forth that mostly it has to give some interesting results, but well, this game coming up is the right time for Chelsea to play Wolves. Just a few days ago, Chelsea played Wolves in the EFL Cup and they secure victory over Wolves. But well, going to this, I think it's going to be a very difficult game for Wolves. Looking at both teams on the league table right now as it stands, Chelsea is 7th on the Premier League table with 17 points out of the 10 games that they've played. And in game week 10, Chelsea secure a 1-0 victory over Tottenham Hotspurs in the London Derby, whilst Wolves too lost 3-0 against Fulham in game week 10. Going into this game right now, Wolves, they are still at the bottom 20th position with just 2 points out of the 10 games that they've played in the Premier League. What do I think is going to happen in game week 11 at the Stamford Bridge? Can Chelsea win all the 3 maximum points? Yes, Chelsea is going to win all the 3 maximum points. And my score prediction for this game, I'm predicting Chelsea to secure a 4-1 victory over Wolves. Chelsea 4, Wolves 1. Moving on to the next game at the Villa Park in game week 11 is between Aston Villa versus AFC Bournemouth. These are two teams who lost their games in game week 10. Aston Villa went to Anfield and they lost by 2-0 against the Premier League champions Liverpool, whilst AFC Bournemouth also went to the Etihad and they lost by 3-1 against Manchester City in game week 10. Looking at the Premier League table as it stands in game week 10, AFC Bournemouth, they are now 5th on the Premier League table with 18 points plus of 3 goals, and Aston Villa too, right now they are 11th on the Premier League table with 15 points minus of 1 goal as it stands in game week 10. Going into this game at the Villa Park in game week 11, what is my score prediction? Can Aston Villa get a draw or get a win over AFC Bournemouth? I think it's going to be interesting. Well, I think it's going to be a very difficult game, and well, in this game, I'm predicting this game to end in a draw. My prediction is Aston Villa 2, AFC Bournemouth 2. But I will not be shocked if Aston Villa get a 2-1 victory or if Bournemouth get a 2-1 victory. But my prediction is a 2-2 draw. Yes, moving on to the next game at the MATCHDAY Community Stadium in game 11 is between Brentford versus Newcastle United. This is going to be one of the most difficult games coming up in game 11. Brentford at home at the MATCHDAY Community Stadium hosting Newcastle United. In game 10, Brentford lost by 2-0 against Crystal Palace, whilst Newcastle too also went to the London Stadium and they lost that game by 3-1 against West Ham United, who have been struggling this season. And well, going into this game is going to be very difficult because looking at both teams, as it stands in game 10, Brentford, they are now 12th on the league table with 13 points minus of 2 goals, and Newcastle United, they are also 13th on the league table minus of 1 goal. And going into this game at the MATCHDAY Community Stadium, what is my score prediction? I'm predicting this game to end in a draw. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Brentford 1, Newcastle United 1. Moving on to the next game at the Selhurst Park in game week 11 is between Crystal Palace versus Brighton. Going into this game at the Selhurst Park in game week 11 is going to be one of the most difficult games because looking at both teams in game week 10, Brighton at home secure a 3-0 victory, and well, Crystal Palace too got a 2-0 victory over Brentford in game week 10. So both teams won their games in game week 10. And yes, looking at both teams on the league table at the moment, Crystal Palace, they are now 9th on the league table with 16 points plus of 5 goals, and Brighton at the moment, they are also 10th on the league table with 15 points plus of 1 goal as it stands in game week 10. What is my score prediction going to this game at the Selhurst Park in game week 11? Well, I'm predicting this game to end in a 2-1 victory for Brighton. Brighton 2, Crystal Palace 1. But I will not be shocked if this game ends in a 2-2 draw. But my prediction is a 2-1 victory for Brighton. Yes, moving on to the next game at the City Ground in game week 11 is between Nottingham Forest versus Leeds United. This is going to be a classic game coming up at the City Ground in game week 11. Nottingham Forest at home hosting Leeds United. Right now, looking at both teams on the league table, Nottingham Forest at the moment, they are 19th on the Premier League table with 6 points minus of 12 goals as it stands in game week 10. And while Leeds United, they are also 16th on the league table with 11 points minus of 8 goals as it stands in game week 10. Going to this game at the City Ground in game week 11, what is my score prediction? Well, let's talk about Nottingham Forest. In game week 10, Nottingham Forest got a 2-2 draw against Manchester United, which in that game, I predicted that game to end in a draw. But my prediction was a 1-1 draw. But well, at the end of the day, that game ended in a 2-2 draw and they got a 1 point against Manchester United. Going to this game week 11, hosting Leeds United, I think this is a game that Nottingham Forest would need all the 3 maximum points if they want to escape relegation. I think this is a game that they will need all the 3 maximum points. And what is my score prediction? Nottingham Forest versus Leeds United. My prediction in this game is going to be a 2-1 victory for Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest 2, Leeds United 1. Moving on to the last game in game week 11, or the game of the week in Premier League game week 11 at the Etihad Stadium, is between Manchester City versus Liverpool. At the start of the season, these two teams were tipped as the Premier League contenders, and as it stands in game week 11, right now looking at both teams, Manchester City right now, they are second on the league table with 19 points plus of 12 goals, and Liverpool right now, they are also third on the Premier League table with 18 points plus of 4 goals. Going to this game at the Etihad Stadium is going to be an interesting game because right now the conversation around these two clubs are not the same as it started in game week 1. Right now, Arsenal is far away with 25 points, and Man City, who is now second, had 19 points as it stands in game week 10. So it seems Arsenal is giving gap between these two teams. And well, going to this game, despite there is only 1 point difference between Man City and Liverpool, 18-19. The biggest game of the season, Liverpool going to Etihad to play Manchester City. As it stands right now, Liverpool was on some bad or a very terrible form, but well, in game week 10, got a 2-0 victory over Aston Villa at Anfield, whilst Man City 2 at home at the Etihad Stadium secure a 3-1 victory over a very good side, Bournemouth. And well, Erling Haaland can't stop scoring, and it is what it is. Going into this game, Man City at home versus Liverpool. What is my score prediction, or what do I think is going to happen? I think in this game, Erling Haaland is going to score, but well, still I think Liverpool will also score, and I think Mohamed Salah will get a goal in this game. I'm not fully convinced that Liverpool can get all the 3 maximum points, but well, I will not be shocked if this game ends in a draw. But well, I'm predicting Manchester City to get a 2-1 victory over Liverpool, but I will not be shocked if this game ends in a 1-1 draw. My prediction is a 2-1 victory for Manchester City. City 2, Liverpool 1. Yeah, so this has been my prediction for Premier League game week 11. I have less than 50 new subscribers and I'll reach 5k. So if you are watching this video, please kindly like this video, subscribe, and help me reach 5,000 subscribers, and I'll be very grateful. I really appreciate the love that you guys have shown me over the years, and God bless everybody for the support. Till we meet in another video, bye bye for now.